Okay, so there's a reason you click on this video. Maybe you watched a video earlier and you honestly forgot like a week later on how to do leader stats. Or maybe this is your first time watching this video, and in that case, you're in good hands. The thing about leader stats is it's a little bit difficult for some people who've maybe started scripting before. And honestly, myself as a junior scripter who's only been scripting for a year, it can be quite a little hard to understand, but once you get it, it actually is quite easy and it's very helpful in your games. So let's go over it. In essence, LEADERSTATS is a folder. This folder is placed in your player, and there you can add stuff like wins, coins, all kinds of other stuff you want to do. And so let's actually look at where this folder is going to be placed before we actually even start the scripting part. So let's get familiar with what it looks like. If we go to play, and actually you can see my little character, my little capybara head with a suit and tie. Don't ask me why the head is way smaller than the body. It's kind of crazy. If we go into players, which is over here in our Explorer page, as you can see your player. My player is Enter9. You can call me 9dev or 9, whatever you feel cool with. This is my player. And as you can see, my player has a few things. It has backpack, starter gear, player GUI, player scripts, a bunch of stuff. What we want to do is we want to add the leader stats to my player. So let me show you how to do that via scripting. If you head over here to the server script service, you're going to right click this and you're going to add a script. I believe you just go to insert objects. And if it doesn't pop up immediately, just type in script. And you might make sure you do the script, not the local script, not the module script, regular script. We want to do a regular server script. Once you get here, and forgive me for my presets, I have a whole different color palette for my stuff. It's just for me to see easier and also for you guys to see. But if it's a little jarring, I apologize. We're basically here, we're going to create a folder. Now, when we create something, it has to go somewhere. It also has to, like, not only does it have to go somewhere, but also has to have a reason for existing. You can't just create something out of thin air and expect it to do something. So the first thing we do is we need to check when the player joins the game, because that's the best area to add our leader stats. And so basically, if we just do game, so we access the game. From here, we do .players. So now we got the game and play. We got game.players. We're accessing this folder right here, this player folder. Let me actually exit out of my game so that's not lagging. Well, I have to reinsert my script. Oopsie. Yeah. So you go down, you do game.players, and from here you're gonna do player added, and this quite literally checks when a player is added to the game. Now, if you just bracket this off, it does nothing. To make this into a function, you have to do a colon connect. What connect does is it takes this, again, that players are player headed, and connects it to a function. Now, what is a function? A function is what I like to call cause and effect. Something happens, and it causes something else to happen. So, cause effect. What happened is the player joins the game, and the effect is he gets leader stats, he gets points, all that stuff. So connect and then function. This is what creates the function. From here, you're gonna add a bracket. You're just gonna add a left bracket and it'll create 2. Once you do that, you want to click over here because we have this bracket right here. This bracket is our end bracket, because when you create a function, there has to be an end to it. And so if you click in between here and you click enter, it actually does it for us. You see this little end here. This is the end of the function. And so all our work is going to be inside of here. The way we create a leader stat is first we got to do a local. Now, a local variable. Now, hopefully you've watched videos on this stuff before and you've like worked on local variables with numbers and all that stuff. If you haven't, try to pay attention as best you can. Basically, we're gonna make a local variable. We're just gonna call it leader stats. Now, when you make a local variable, it has to go somewhere. It also has to be something. So right now we just call it a variable called leader stats. We're gonna do equal. As you see, something popped up here. Instance.new. What instance.new does is it creates something. And it could literally be anything. It could be folder, in value, number value, whatever you want it to be. How you do that is you bracket it, and it has to be in quotations. And we're gonna create is a folder. Like I said earlier, the leader sets is a folder. So now we've created a folder. Now this folder is in space. We created something and it's literally nowhere. Although we coded it in here, it's in the void. This is where you're gonna drop a line. And here we're gonna access our local leader stats folder, or our local leader stats variable. And first we're gonna put it somewhere. Right now it's in the void. We want to actually put it somewhere. Now, this is gonna lead into my next thing. So you know how we added game.player.playerAdded? So when you actually add this function, you can do things called parameters. Now, parameters are this thing where you can basically insert something into a function, like as an argument. In simple terms, when a player is added, it basically passes in the player. And actually, this doesn't have to be called player. It could be whatever. It could be student. It could be whatever name you call it. But player is the easiest because obviously it's the player that's being added, so it makes more sense to call it player. But this player is the character that is added. So like if I go to players, this would be my player. And actually we can test it right now. If we go to script and we do print player.name, it should, in theory, let me comment this out actually, so it's not messing anything up. It should, in theory, print my name. Look at that. Internet. So it passes in the player, which is me. So back to leaderstats.parent, what we want to pair this leader set to is our player that we passed in. And so what you'll see is, if I play again, we go to players, it is now create a folder in my player, because my player is the parent and the folder is the child. Now, you probably noticed that the folder is just called folder and it's not called leader stats. That's because although we made a variable called leader stats, we didn't actually name it. Now, a lot of people think when they name it, when they make a variable, that this is the name. That's not true. You have to go down here. Your leader stats not parent name. And from here, you're gonna do in all lowercase leader sets. And here's the kicker. It has to be in all lowercase. And here's the reason why. If you even put a capital letter here, it will not work. Roblox only recognizes it when it's in all lowercase, and it has to be spelled exactly as leader stats. And from here, you press play, and now the folder that was called folder is now called leader sets. Nice. Now let's get to that part. Let's get to the fun part. We're gonna add some stuff to it, like points, wins. For this, I'm gonna do coins. We'll do coins and wins, so we get two examples at the same time. Same thing with the leader stats. We're gonna make a local variable, and I'm just gonna call it points. Now, we also need to make another instance. Instance.new. This time, it's going to be an int value. Now, what is an int value? A lot of people use this. They'll like put it down, but they won't actually explain what it does. And it's very important that you kind of know the difference between int value and number value. Two very different. Similar, different. So an int value is very simple. It's any like whole numbers, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. A number value is any number like with a decimal. It doesn't have to be decimal, but it includes decimals. So like 5.7, 6.8, 10.7, all that stuff, right? So when you're making your games, figure out if you want the numbers to be whole numbers, you want them to include decimals. Like if you're making like, I don't know, like a supermarket game, right? Where you have to deal with money, you're going to want to use a number value because you're dealing with decimals. But if you're making like a system where like wins, you want to make sure it's an int value. You don't want any decimals in that. In this case, I'm going to do int value. And so we create an instance, and like the leader stats, it's right now in a void. So this time, we have to create the parent. And this time, it's not going to be the player. And there's a reason for this. So when we make a leader stat, or when we make something, right? It's right here. We actually want this to be inside here, like this. And you'll see it actually pop up here. Look, value. And it's called value because I didn't name it. We want it to be inside here. So where we do dot parent, we actually want it to be leader stats. Because the parent is going to be the leader stats, not the player. It is the player. Technically, it's the parent of a parent, but we want it to be the leader stats. And then we can do coins.name as well. So that doesn't show up as value. And you can see it right here. Look, it pops right there. Coins, 0. Real quickly, I'll just do the wins. So local wins equals instance.new int value wins dot parent equals leader stats, same as the coins. We want them both to be in the same folder. And wins dot name equals wins. Look at that. And so now if I play, we have 2 values here. Both say 0. If you want to have a base value, right? Say you want the player to start off like 5 coins, right? You don't want them to start off with 0. Maybe you want to get like a basic item that they can buy. Very simple. So pick the name, coins, dot value. This accesses the value of the int. Once you get here, you do equals, and then you can set it to whatever you want it to be, like 5. Maybe I'll set to 5. And the wins, we don't have to, but we can do wins dot value equals 0. So now oops, lowercase. So now if you'll hear wins coin starts with 5s, wins starts with 0. Wins was already 0, so it didn't matter, but just to show off. Now, say you want to add coins, right? You've probably never heard of a while true do statement, but this basically just makes a loop that happens over and over and over again. I'll do every 1 second. We're gonna loop every 1 second. I'm gonna get a coin. So it's gonna go 5, 6, 7, 8. It's gonna go up every second. And the way you do that is first we want to start with the player. This player is the parameter that was passed in here. So this accesses the player, my name, intern9, that's in the player folder when I start the game. So player dot leader stats, because that's the next thing. So we go the player to the folder called leader stats. From here, we go to coins. Either coins or wins, whichever one. We do coins. And then same as this, right? Because we want to access the value. Dot value. Now, some tutorials, and I hate that they do this, will do it like this. See where it's like player.leaderstats.coins value equals player.leaderstats.coins value plus 1. No. No. We're not doing that. Very simple fix. Do plus, and then do equal, and then put the value you want to add. And what this does is it does that whole thing way simpler. And so it takes whatever the value of this is, plus it plus 5, and then equals what it is after. So like say it's 7. Say this is 7, the value 7. It pluses 5, and then equals whatever's left. So 12. Way more simple. And so you play this, it should work. However, we're going to get an error. And this is something that a lot of you guys will deal with. And I want you to understand the fix to it because it's very important. Coins is not a valid member of folder. Players that enter 9.leaderstats. Why did this happen? We got everything right? We made the coins. We did all this stuff, right? It should work. I want you to look at my folder. So right now it's called coins. I want you to look at this. Notice how the C is capital. However, in my script, it's lowercase. So, and I've made this mistake when I was an early developer, is I get confused between the variable name and the actual name inside of the game. When you're making a variable, you have to make sure you understand the difference. This local coins, this is the variable name. The actual name of the int value is coins with a capital C. So when you're accessing that int value, you're going to access the actual name of it, which is the capital C. If you want to make it easier yourself, then and you don't want to deal with all that, then just name them both the same things. Like I would make this coins, and that would be easier. Basically, if you ever run into an issue, it probably might be because you accidentally use the name of the variable and not the name of the actual thing. So in theory, this should work. Every second I get 5 coins. Look at that. And so now, that's all. In a future video, I might go over like other stuff, like how to make it so that if you touch a brick, you get coins for it. Or maybe I'll do P calls maybe later. But I hope you like this video. And this is a lot more in-depth way. It's a long video, but I hope it helps you in developing and coding and helps you understand more better how it works. And so that's not like just simple. And I hope you liked the video and hope you like to subscribe, and thank you for watching. Bye.